Good day, Curtis. So today is the day after the election results day. And as you rightly mentioned, Cameron is still in our government. He is the Prime Minister still. And over the coming years of him still being Prime Minister, we will find out whether we made another bad decision. But more on that later. I think the improvements you would make on the prequels of Star Wars, they are very, very relevant. And the reason that they make a lot of sense is because in the original trilogy, these kind of things were only referenced. They weren't stated on all the little details, and these little details are what were the faults of the prequel trilogy. So when they made the prequel trilogy, they were giving facts, they were setting things into the Star Wars canon. And these things like Anakin's age and frickin' Jar Jar Binks should not have been in there because they weren't important. They only degraded the value of those films, and they could have fixed that quite easily because it would not affect the original trilogy. And while I feel Episode 3 wasn't a complete piece of trash, I do feel Episode 1 just slightly took the lead. And while everyone has the argument of Jar Jar Binks, if you just delete all of those scenes, it actually makes no difference to the movie whatsoever. Plus, Episode 1 had Darth Maul, who is the most agile Sith Lord in the whole series, and he has a double-ended lightsaber. That is all. As for Episode 3, I wasn't too fond of the acting in that film because of Hayden Christensen. He's just... I don't get it, Curtis. I don't get why they picked him. However, I do have to give compliments to Episode 3 for setting up the lore for A New Hope, as I feel the final scenes of Episode 3 were pretty good. I did like the whole construction of Darth Vader. Really underexposed. But anyway, back to politics. You asked me how I feel about the whole situation whereby we still have a Tory government, and the fact that everyone else left. And I'm quite disappointed, actually. I mean, I did not vote Cameron in because I think he's a bit of a but in saying that, it turns out that's what the country wants. We want to have David Cameron, and even though we've been complaining about him for the past 5 years. But I guess each to their own, because the parties are there to represent a certain category of people, and the majority of people wanted Cameron in. But I don't really like talking about politics, and there is a reason why I don't like talking about politics, and the reason is because it is so depressing now. The reason I find it depressing is because, say there's an interview of a politician in the news. The interviewer will ask a question and the politician will reply, and before the politician has finished answering the question, they will butt in and ask another question. That really annoys me. I do not like that kind of attitude towards something which is meant to be so professional. It's a very immature attitude to have towards another human being, and that is the reason I hate talking about politics. But how do you feel about this topic? Leave your opinions in the comment section down below. Curtis, DFTBA, I will see you on Monday.